Hi, guys. I know this is kind of a late impromptu live, but I just wanted to talk to you guys really quickly because I had an amazing interview today on my TV show, Success Made Simple, and it was with a buddy of mine. Named Matt Newman, and Matt was telling the story about how he got diagnosed with brain cancer almost 5 years ago when he was 39. He was my age. He was 39 when he got diagnosed with brain cancer, and he shared. And he wrote this amazing book called Starting at the Finish Line, and you should absolutely go and get it, and because it's just one of those things where I was listening to him, and he was telling me a story about how after he had his brain surgery, his 5-year-old son, or 4-year-old son, basically when he got diagnosed, he had 3 kids under the age of 4 years old. He was diagnosed with brain cancer. There is no cure. At the same time, his father-in-law was battling pancreatic cancer. And so now this was his cancer buddy. And his father-in-law was given a 3-month window to live. And he ended up making it 3 years. But he remembered after he had his brain surgery that he had something at elementary school. It was a breakfast for the dads and their kids. And he was taking his youngest, who was about 2.5, to daycare in the same place. And he was sharing this story with me, and he goes, I remember walking my almost 3-year-old to the room, and she was wearing this pink little coat, and I was walking her into the room, and she handed me her coat, and he started getting choked up, and he said, she said, Daddy, why can't you do this every day? This is so nice. And he started breaking down a little bit when he was telling me this story, because he goes, here's this little 2.5-year-old little girl telling me how much it meant to her for me to be there to just take her to school. And he said, why can't I do this every day? And, he still had his scar, so he was wearing his hat, and he then proceeded to walk with his son to this breakfast, and he was just so present with just being grateful for having a life to live. And he looked around and he saw all these dads just holding their phones, and it was a 30-minute breakfast with their kids, holding their phones. And he said, man, he goes, this is the only 30 minutes that these guys have with their sons, and they're staring at their phones. And I asked him, I said, what outlook do you now have on life? And he goes, everything happens for a reason. He goes, I was not like, oh, woe is me. God, why did you give me brain cancer? Why did you take my father-in-law? Why me? He goes, I got a new lease on life. He said that getting brain cancer was almost the best thing that happened to me, because it made me wake up. And he said, cancer doesn't know age. Cancer doesn't know male or female. He said, it's always going to be with me. It's always going to be riding in the passenger seat of my car every day. But he goes, I'm driving that car. I'm the one that's in control of this. Cancer is not in control of me. I'm in control of it. And it just got me thinking as I was driving home to grab Nancy and then to go get Taylor, that guys, I'm going to say this to you to you now, and I really want you to think about this tonight. You really need to wake up and realize how precious life actually is, and how each and every one of us, me included, absolutely take advantage of life. Because after speaking to Matt today and hearing his story, because I said, how long, have you been in remission? He goes, I'm not in remission. He said, I have to go back every 4 months to get a CAT scan. He goes, it's always going to be there. He goes, Scott, they took a chunk of my brain out. And he said, if the doctors told me tomorrow that I need to go every week to get a CAT scan just to make sure that everything is under control, he said I would. He said, 2 months into treatment, he had lost his hair. He had no taste buds. He couldn't taste anything. Everything tasted like wet cardboard, he told me. Wet cardboard, everything. And his buddies, for his 40th birthday, he was in treatment, battling cancer, brain cancer, on his 40th birthday. And some of his good buddies flew him down to TPC Sawgrass. Hi, Cindy. And they went golfing, and they went to this amazing restaurant. He couldn't taste any of the food, but he said to me, he goes, you know what? It didn't matter. He goes, it didn't matter to me. It didn't matter what the food did or did not taste like, because I was there with my friends. I was able to live and see that moment. I was able to live my 40th birthday with my best friends. And he now speaks all over the country. All over the country. He's going to speak in front of 2,000 people. He was on TEDx. He's speaking at a conference in Vegas. And he's taken his sons with him, because he wants them to be a part of this, because they're a part of this story. What Matt had to go through to get to where he is now. And the funny thing is, he's in finance sales. And he said that when he was laying in bed, when he got diagnosed with brain cancer, his father, who to this day is still one of his best friends, he said, Dad, I'm going to send you my will. I'm going to send you my life insurance policies, my 401ks, my IRAs. He goes, I need you to make sure that everything is in place. And he turned to me and he said, that was the first time that I had ever seen my father cry. And he said, I'm 39 years old. I'm laying in bed. I've just got diagnosed with brain cancer. And I'm talking to my father about my will and my life insurance policies. All I'm thinking about is my parents. I'm thinking about my friends, my 3 kids, my wife. Am I going to be here 6 months from now? And it's almost 6 months later. May 14th, 2013, he was diagnosed. And he said that the book came about because it was cathartic for him to just put pen to paper. And before he knew it, he had a 150-page book. And it will pull at your heartstrings for no other reason that, this is another story of someone that triumphed over something, but it really makes me think about just everyday life. Everyone is really sitting back and they actually think that tomorrow is a guarantee. And I am definitely a glass half full type of guy, but you never know. You never know. Nancy shared a video with me by Susan Dampier, who, she's an amazing network marketer. Love her. Has 6 kids. And she shared the story today, how she's been battling some stomach, some back issues, and just didn't feel right. And the doctors found a lesion on her liver. And she broke down on this live, and she goes, all I was thinking about was my 8-month-old and my 5 other kids, my grandkids. She says, my life was flashing before my eyes when my doctor called me and said that, I had a lesion. And as it turned out, it was just a benign cyst, and everything's going to be okay. But she said what she realized from just going through the potential diagnosis that it could be cancer, it really made her turn the mirror around on her life and the meaning of it, and how everyone get in. She goes, she goes, I wasn't saying, God, why me? And, I'm a good person. And, it wasn't any of that. It's the fact that she really understood that when she says, I love you to Sean, her husband, she's not going to say it just to say it, but because she loves him, and to her friends and to her family, everyone. And I think we get in this mode of life, we're on autopilot, where we're just expecting tomorrow to just happen and all of these things. But what I can tell you is that in an instant, in the blink of an eye, it can all change. And I don't wish that on myself, on Nancy, on anyone that I know, or any of you. And it's not about preparing for the worst. But you know what? It's waking up each day and treating each day with just a little bit more grace, with just a little bit more love, with a little bit more gratitude and appreciation for that day. Because guys, every single one of us can and will live the most beautiful life ever. And it's actually something, my grandmother said something to my mom. And she said, life is full of a lot of sorrow. What did she say? What did my grandmother say? Life is full. What?
I don't remember. It was like a little bit of happiness.
She said life is full of sorrow and happiness. There's gonna, life is a roller coaster ride. And my grandmother, God bless her, she's gonna be 92 in April. And she's right, there are going to be down times in our lives, but it's those down times. And I even said to Nancy last night, my amazing friend, Maureen Politi, is battling cancer right now. And we pray for her all the time. And I just sometimes for me, it's hard to understand when bad things happen. That's when people start to pay more attention. And we shouldn't have to wait for the bad things to happen to pay attention to life. Because everyone says, when something happens and it really turns the mirror around, oh my God, I'm looking through life a different way. You don't have to wait for something bad to happen. Hearing it about someone that you know, or someone that you don't even know, hearing a story, that should be a wake-up call enough to say, you know what, no more. No more complaining. No more playing it small. No more worrying about all the bullshit. And the human condition, we're all a work in progress. Lisa's absolutely right, we are. We're all a work in progress. But again, if you start treating each and every day as a gift, each day is going to look very, very different to you. It's going to take on new meaning. It's going to feel and look much more. So my message to all of you tonight is really take a good look in the mirror tonight. Really understand that there are a ton of people out there that love you and care about you. But equally, there's a lot of people out there that may not know how much you love and care about them. So reach out to someone. Let them know how grateful you are for them, how much you love them, how much you care about them. And don't treat each day as it's going to happen. Treat each day as a gift. it's going to mean that much more to you. So guys, I hope everyone is well. I hope everyone has an amazing rest of your night. I love you all so much. I want to see nothing but the best for all of you. And again, when you live your life with passion and with purpose, that's when your cup is full every single day. Take care of you before you can take care of everybody else. I'll see you guys soon. Bye, everybody.